Hi, welcome to FitTech Videos. This is video 2 of the 9-year-old plus parent-child releasing. In the first video with my son Joshua, we did quad, hamstring, lower leg, anterior tib, calves, feet, and the psoas. I showed you how to stimulate the psoas. So now we're going to do more upper body. So obviously, like I said, whenever we work over the skin, I like to work with a cloth. It just helps to get in deeper into the fibers. I find the forearms are very important to release because especially if there's shoulder or neck issues, the forearm helps to release everything. So by doing that regularly, just a gentle release, you don't have to go as hard, you don't have to wait until there's an issue. Obviously, when there are issues, then releasing will make a difference. What we're going to be doing with our website is we're going to be asking our members to send us videos of specific things, and we'll make videos of those specific things that you can do. And obviously, these videos are not, by no means taking the place of people like myself as a sports therapist. There's physios, chiros, they're great at what they do, and they're always going to be out there to help you. But I find that often the best results is if you release, you help your kids and your husband and everyone else release regularly and stay released. That way you keep those injuries away, and you can help a lot with growing pains and things like that. So with the cloth, I'm not going to use the cloth for the sake of these videos, purely because I want you to see where I'm pressing, but normally I would work with a cloth. So I'm going to also work across the body. Normally I'd stand on that side working on that arm, but I want to show you what I'm doing. So basically, nice and relaxed. The forearm is quite sensitive, so be careful how hard you push. It should never be hard when you push. So adding a little bit of movement. The forearm generally not the ticklish area. It's generally more tender. It's not ticklish, is it, boy? No. But it can be a little bit ticklish. But this one is probably better. The legs are much more ticklish and the stomach and stuff. So what you're going to do is you just warm it up a little bit, both the top and the bottom part. Then you want to do a little bit of a grip, and then you can move the wrist and twist the arm a little bit, or you can ask him move the wrist for that, up and down. Good, and twist the arm. Good, and you can get him to do it. So when you push, it's not too sore. Good, so when you push, it's not too sore, but yet when he moves, it's more sensitive. Move now. You feel that? A little bit more. Good, and that helps to stretch the fascia. Good also to get hold of the bicep and tricep. When they get to this age, they're starting to develop a little bit more. They're playing a lot. They're doing a bit more sport. So a lot of parents don't realize how important it is to release their kids and for their kids to have release sessions. I'd probably say that probably once every six months, it's worth, even if they don't have an issue, taking them to a sports therapist or physio or someone or a massage therapist to get a good release. Look, it's not a must, but I recommend it because I see the benefit of the clients that bring their kids to me on a regular basis for releasing. And obviously, as they get older, they need it even more. So there, and then just work the forearm. So gripping in there with the thumb or the fingers. You can also just go in like that. You can hold it like this and ask him to move. Just move up and relax down. A little bit tender there. Move up. Yeah, that's a tender one there. Not too sore. Then you grip the bottom part. So basically holding on to the muscle, not too hard. If you feel like it's too that you can't get in, then add a bit of movement. And remember, when you add movement, especially in the stomach area, it's sensitive. So when it's sensitive in kids, generally it'll be more ticklish. So and ticklishness is a pain response. So remember that it's a pain response. So not too long. So a little bit and hold, a little bit and hold. So they can handle a little bit. When you hold, I'm deeper than I was earlier, and he's happy now. But if you're moving, you see, it makes him ticklish. But as long as you're doing a little bit and hold, that's a great way. So fantastic for the lower arm. The upper arm is very important. In the shoulders. Now with Jewel, my daughter, she's only 5. I didn't go that much in depth with the shoulders and stuff. But with from the age of 9 or so, you can start doing a little bit more stimulation work. So now I'm going to stimulate the front of the deltoid, right in front here. It's quite a sensitive area. So a little bit of stimulation, and ask him to gently lift the arm up for me. The whole arm, sorry. Take it down, the whole arm, boy, like this. Good, and relax. Not too high, just like that. So you explain that to them. Lift now, and relax. Fantastic. And lift now, and relax. Not too sore, hey? There. So what I'm doing now, good. That's a good way to stimulate the muscle, to ask the brain to use that muscle in the arm movement. Because what often happens, when they're young, they don't pick up, they don't start getting mobility issues and pain that we get as adults. But when you start doing this at a young age, they then develop the way the body should, and not picking up bad habits. Because what happens is, I see this a lot nowadays. I see it younger and younger. I see that now I'm getting clients that are like 18, 19, 20, 22, 23 in their sport. They're taking their sport a little bit more seriously, and now all of a sudden they got issues that have come up, and that's because their bodies compensate. And it starts at this age, when they really start getting from they're starting to get into that the adult phase of their lives. Their bodies are growing. Josh is going through some major growth spurts now, and that's when there's a lot of communication error, if for lack of a better word. And this is all just a basic explanation. And obviously, if you go and talk to your doctor, your physio, they might say, oh no, it's way more complicated than that. But you know what? I like to explain it the way I understand it, so I break everything down to the basic, and it's easier way to explain that. So stimulating the muscle and asking it to move, gentle movements, small movements, helps the mind-muscle connection. Then a bit of chest, and you can feel that's a little bit sensitive. So what you do is you ask him to lift the arm up. So now I'm going to show you. So that's what you're going to do. I'm going to show you on this side, so it's not blocking the camera. And then you're going to stimulate the muscle and then pull it down. Or you're going to stimulate and ask him to pull it down. Take the arm down, now pull it back up again. Good. Stimulate and pull it down. So now you're doing two things. You're stimulating the muscle to work better, but also stretching the fascia, the connective tissue that starts bunching up now, especially at this age when they start developing more and more. Then abdominals. It's very important to get into the abdominals. Probably more important than in the back. A lot of people, the main place that people feel discomfort is in the back. And everyone, you think of massage, you think, oh, back. You think of trigger, you think, oh, my back. No one ever comes to me and says, oh, I need a good abdominal massage or a good abdominal trigger. That's what I'm saying to them, and they look at me with big eyes like that. Then they keep coming back because they're like, wow, my back hasn't felt so good in years. So a little bit of stimulation of the abs makes a huge difference. So now, obviously with Joshua, he's a little bit, he's now 9, a little bit bigger than his sister, who's 5. Now there's a little bit more muscle to deal with, even though Jewel had quite good muscle from the gymnastics. So now you're going to go, he's small enough for me to use one hand. I'm going to basically work up and down. It's not too ticklish. It could be very ticklish. It also, if they got slightly bit of puppy fat, it could be a little bit tender, so be aware of that. If it's a little bit burny or bruisey feeling, it's just because their lymph is a bit sluggish. When that happens, then use a flat hand and just stimulate. And it's always good to go clockwise, because that also helps to stimulate your bowel movements. Even though you're not going deep enough to stimulate the bowel itself, just doing a tummy rub clockwise will help with that as well. Will just help to soothe the body. So once you're able to get in there and it's not too tender, and Josh is quite happy with this, it's not too silver, fantastic. Then you kind of do a little bit of a stimulation, and you ask him to lift your head for Dad. Good, and the muscle, and relax down. That helps to stimulate that muscle, but also releases it. So it does two jobs. It stimulates the abs to work better, and also with the movement and the holding onto the muscle, it helps to stretch that fascia a little bit as well. And you go all the way from right under the ribs all the way to just above the pelvic bone. You don't want to go much lower than that. Now you can add a twist. So then what you do is you work on this side. So you can work with one hand or two hands. So you go in there, lift the head for Dad. Keep it lifted. Lift that opposite leg for Dad. And relax both down. Good. That's a good way of doing it. So you work this side, you lift the head and the opposite leg. Then you work this side. Okay, lift the head for Dad. Now this leg and relax. Fantastic. That's a good way to stimulate that abdominal muscle. Great. Well, that's video 2 for kids 9 years and a bit older. I'm going to do a third video where I go more into the back and neck. But hope this works for you, and thanks for watching.